Okay, so this is exploring the German Bratwurst skillet. Here is a picture of the dish that I made. And the ingredient that I decided to focus on was sage, and here's some history behind it. It originated in the Mediterranean, and the first record of it being used was in ancient Egypt. And in 812 AD, Charlemagne believed it was so important that he had it planted on German imperial farms. And many other great rulers really appreciated this herb, including the Roman Emperor Nero. And the French used it to make sage tea, and the Chinese were so interested in this tea that they would trade 4 pounds of their tea for 1 pound of the sage tea. And the Romans had many medical uses for it, including stopping bleedings from wounds, healing ulcers, and soothing a sore throat. The culture behind sage, it's been used in almost every culture in the world. It was prized back in the day for its culinary and medical uses, and the ancient Romans believed it brought wisdom, immortality, and greatened their domestic virtue just for planting this herb. It was even cherished by the Aztecs, and they used it to make face paint that would show a person's ranking in society. And it was also used to ward off evil spirits and protect one's spirituality. The nutrient composition of the dish, it has 320.85 calories, 16.2 grams of carbohydrates, 10.76 grams of protein, 24.31 grams of fat, 2.77 grams of fiber, 58.28 milligrams of vitamin C, 145.81 IU of vitamin A. The relationship to disease for sage, 1 tablespoon of it has 10% of the recommended daily intake of vitamin K, 1.1% of iron and vitamin B6, and 1% of manganese and calcium. It has plenty of oxidants in it, antioxidants, and these help prevent cancer. It also helps improve brain function and memory, and it has antimicrobial properties which help support your oral health, and it also helps reduce blood sugar levels, and it was used back in the day as a remedy for diabetes. Ensuring the fresh quality of ingredients. For the bratwurst, it's good to have a 70-30 meat to fat ratio and have heritage breed animal meat because this gives it a rich flavor. For the peppers, you should check for discoloration, soft spots, and strange odors. For the red onions, you should check for loss of color, soft spots, mold, and weird odors. For the gala apples, you check for bruises and make sure the skin has a vibrant color, and the sage should have a strong smell, no soft spots or dry edges. Some agricultural information on the fruits and vegetables. The green and yellow peppers are warm season crops. The soil temperature shouldn't drop below 64 degrees, and they can be harvested 60 to 90 days after planting. The red onion needs plenty of sunlight. It needs to be watered once or twice per week and should be planted 8 to 12 weeks before the last average frost date. For the gala apples, the domestic seasonality begins late August, but they're generally available year-round. And for the sage, it should be planted in the cool days of spring and fall because it doesn't easily tolerate heat or humidity. For the dish preparation, the bratwursts are cooked first on the skillet for 6 minutes, and then they're set aside. And then the onions, peppers, and mushrooms are added into the skillet and cooked. And then sage, salt, and pepper are added while they're being cooked. The gala apples are sautéed in a separate skillet until they're browned. And when the apples are done, you should place them and the brats into the skillet, which is then placed into a preheated oven at 350 degrees, and they should be cooked for 10 minutes. And then after they're cooked, you should ensure the vegetables and the sausages are thoroughly cooked. the tasting of the dish, I thought it tasted amazing, and the beer brats that I bought were super rich in flavor and tasty. I think the sausages sort of overshadowed the vegetables, but they're still good with the seasonings that we added. And one thing that surprised me about this dish was how good the apples were. Uh, Having them sauteed really enriched the flavor, and it sort of reminded me of apple cider. And overall, I would rate it an 8 out of 10 because it was all pretty rich in flavor, but I think it could have been better with more seasoning and more vegetables. Comparison of cultures, Bratwurst used to be a means of survival for the Germans during the harsh winters, and the pig was the animal of choice for them because it is a good luck symbol. And today it's used in many dishes across the world, but mainly in Europe. And the U.S. Typically uses these sausages during cookouts or other get-togethers because of their rich flavor. And I personally have never tried this food before, but I found it pretty easily at the store, and I know plenty of people who have cooked with them before. And here's my references. Thank you.